I got myself a gift. I have been trying to think of how I can handle things around my property with my gardens without needing a lot of help. And I finally decided to invest in a battery operated tiller. I saw this kind on Deep South Homestead, or it's called Pecan Grove, whichever episode you're watching, with Danny and Wanda. And they had one of these little things. And so I decided to order one for me. This is not a commercial. They're not sponsoring me. I'm just showing you what I bought. And I'll explain why I decided to go ahead and do this. See what we got here. If I can even, let's see, book. It's the handle. Looks like it may have like a little automatic, kind of like a self-propelled lawnmower maybe. We'll see. Or maybe that's just the on-off. We'll see. I recently went back and just found the video that they did on this thing so I could get the name of it and just kind of listen a little bit more about their experience with it. But I didn't watch the whole video, so I did not watch like Danny putting it together, if he put it together on there. I didn't watch it all. Here's one of the battery chargers. I'm assuming there's two chargers because there's two batteries. Seems like you'd need to charge them all at once to get it ready to go. Yeah. Second charger. I'm not going to make y'all sit through every bit of this. I just kind of wanted to show the unboxing of it. And in the box, there was two of these batteries. Now, they don't say 40 volt on here. They say 5,000 Li ion battery, 2603 or whatever. But I kept seeing Danny refer to it as 40 volt. And I'm pretty sure on the advertising from the factory, it's called 40 volt. So anyway, I got two of these to go with the two chargers that I've already taken out of the box. That's a relief. I kind of all of a sudden said, you know what, am I supposed to have to go out and buy batteries for this? And they just sent chargers, but I found them at the bottom of the box, so thank goodness. I'm going to get rid of my big garden up front. I did a little graph for y'all not too long ago. I told you all about this and how I'm just going to take things off my plate. I'm going to make things more manageable for me. So I'm getting rid of my big garden that's up front of my property, and I'm only going to keep this small garden that's back here. It's in bad shape because we're in a drought again this year. It is bad. We've had no rain for weeks and weeks. We had some rain near us yesterday. It did rain near us. It rained where my sister lives yesterday, but we haven't gotten it here. And everything here is dried up. That's my corn stalks back there. Everything is just dried up, and it's done. It's toast. It's a good thing I didn't walk out into that garden to talk to y'all, because look what's there. Is that a snake? That looks like a snake to me. I'm pretty sure that's a snake. Let me get it closer. Can I get closer? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a snake, isn't it? I cannot tell. I'm about 10 feet away, and I cannot tell if that's a snake or a piece of wood. It sure looks like a snake. The head up and everything. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, I'm backing away. That'll warn me tomorrow to be really careful if I get out here tomorrow. I want to get all this cleaned up. I need to get all this cleaned up. I need to get everything pulled out. And then I'm going to take that little task star and I'm going to start just churning it up. You have to film the snake if that's a snake. I'm just going to start churning up everything and taking down all the beds I put in here, because what I'm going to do, they've kind of all melted to nothing anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get it all fluffed up and then start remediating it with the nutrients that my soil test says I need. So that's what I'm going to do. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this stirrup hoe and see if that thing moves. If it doesn't, it's a stick. It didn't move any at all. It might be a stick, y'all. I might be scaring myself to death with a stick. Tell you what, if I come out here tomorrow and it's still sitting there, I'll know it's a stick. If it's gone, I'll know it was a snake. I don't want to mess with a snake. Well, y'all, that was definitely a snake. I walked over there, put some food in the dog's bowl, came back, and it's gone. I wasn't gone less than a minute. I think the back half of it was kind of still in a hole, and only the top half had come out. And now it's gone, so I think it's just kind of sucked itself back into that hole. So I'm not going to be getting in this garden tonight, I can tell you that. And I'm going to be really careful tomorrow, I can tell you that, because the last thing I want is to be bitten by a copperhead or something. If you know snakes and you recognize like what that was, let me know, please. I kind of like knowing what I'm dealing with. But less than a minute later, that's gone, so I know it was definitely a snake. I'm going to let it be and go back toward my house. It is no mystery to me, once I got back my soil test results, of why my garden looked so bad this year in that back garden. I call it my hidden garden. And so these are the results for that little hidden garden back there. That's the only one I sent in a test for. My pH actually was optimal, which kind of surprised me. You always just think you need to adjust that pH to get things to grow and all, but mine was actually okay, 6.43, and the optimal range is 5.8 through 7.0. It gets worse though as we go. Total nitrogen, 4.04, but the optimal range is 32 to 60. So when it says low, it means low. Now my nitrate and ammonia has numbers by it, but they just have dashes under optimal range and the rating. So I'm not sure exactly why that is. If that's always like that on a soil test, I'm not really sure. I need to kind of Google that separately. Phosphorus, which is the second, your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium make up that very important NPK rating that you always hear about. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So my phosphorus was 4.28. Optimum range, though, was 8.0 to 20, so very low. Potassium was 17.46. Optimum 38 to 80, so that was very low. And I mean, some of these are like low end of the low. So sulfur 2.99 should have been 7.0 to 22.0, very low. Same with the calcium, 38.65 should have been 80 to 320. So it's like 9.5 times too low from the high end of that. Magnesium 11.12 should have been 27 to 70.0, very low. I got a good grade on my sodium, 7.98, and it should be 0.5 to 30. So there's a big difference between 7.98 and 30, but I guess if you're anywhere in that range, you're optimal. So I'll take it. I'll take the wins. Iron, 11.79, when it should have been 3.0 to 10.0. So it's actually high. I knocked in a few highs here at the bottom. Same with the manganese, 42.45, and it should have just been 4.0 to 10.0. So my manganese was very, very high. My zinc came in at 0.72, should have only been 0.1 to 0.25. So it was like 3 times too high. The copper, 0.09 is what it was. Should have been 0.06 to 0.3. So I got an optimal score for that because it fell into that range. Sounds good to me. And the boron was 0.1, should have been 0.2 to 0.6. So I got a low on that. So when you look at all of this, we'll kind of zoom out on it. I only got 3 optimals. The rest were red lows or yellow highs. So I've got a lot of work to do. Now it gave me a fertilizer recommendation to get an 835 fertilizer and to apply it at 3.75 pounds for every 100 square feet. I think my bed out there, my garden out there is 374, it's 300 and something. So just say at 4 pounds per 100 feet, even if it was 400 feet, that would be 16 pounds. I'm pretty sure those bags of fertilizer are at least 25 pounds, 20 to 25 or more. So 1 bag should do it is what I'm saying. I really probably need about 15 pounds, but 1 bag should do it. However, at my co-ops and all, I don't know if they sell an 835. They might. I'm going to ask them tomorrow. A lot of times everybody just talks about triple 13 or whatever, but and I know they sell a 888, which is 888 nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. If they have the 888, I might just go ahead and get that. That's fine with me. I'm not going to run all over the place looking for an 835. I'm not going to order anything online and have to pay a bunch of shipping on a heavy product like that. I'm just going to see what my co-op has tomorrow. Now down here, it says it recommends pH and micronutrient adjustments. And I'm going to click on this little thing because I wanted to show you something that's kind of important. It says here a micronutrient application should be beneficial. But this is important, and I didn't really realize this. It says micronutrients are important for plant growth, but these should only be applied once the NPK levels and pH have been addressed. So I will need to do that before I start worrying about every little bag of boron or whatever to put on it. Go ahead and get that NPK levels adjusted and deal with that first. So that makes me feel good. I don't have to just sit here and analyze this to death. I'm going to just get that addressed first and get that on there really well. And then I'll address all the other little items later. And on a chart they had to the side, it explained which of these are macro and which are micro. And all of the ones at the top, nitrogen, nitrate, ammonium, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium, and sodium, those are all the macronutrients. So it told me I need to address the micronutrients. So which one are those? Those are the iron, manganese, zinc, copper, and boron. Those are the only ones that they consider on this chart to be micronutrients. Now, the copper I'm okay in, so don't have to really worry about that. The boron is what I'm low in, so I need to address that. And I do know you can buy the boron in little bags at the garden centers and all, so that's no trouble. The iron, manganese, and zinc, I'm high in, so I'm not going to worry about adding that for sure. So I don't know if there's ways to mitigate it being high. I'm going to have to do some more research on that. But in my mind, I really don't have to think about those three right now or the copper, just that boron, which really is just sprinkling some of that on. So that's pretty easy. I think I got off pretty good on these micronutrients, but you always have to think about your till through your soil. You know, you want to get it really, really healthy back there. So it's not just about pouring this or pouring that on there. It's a lot too about leaving the root structures in and what's growing, and maybe even keeping things growing in your soil all the time. I've kind of let mine go this year, and I've not done well with really worrying about my gardens, and a lot of times just keeping your soil active and healthy with root structures and all the different things that keep your soil healthy. That I need to focus on all of it, not just sprinkling a little boron and walking away. So got a lot of thinking to do. It's the next day. It's Wednesday, August 12th, and I ran to the co-op in a town near me. It's called Kentwood, Louisiana. They have a huge co-op. The store itself is not really big, but the facility is huge. They do a lot of different things at this place, service a lot of different farmers. So I always come here for stuff, and I know right where to go. So let me see what I can find. I'm on the lookout for the boron, which was the micronutrient that I'm low on. I really need that. But the macronutrients, I'm going to go ahead and get what I can get now. I may not put it on right now, but I'm going to go ahead and get it. And I'm looking for sulfur, calcium, and magnesium, because that's what I was low on and everything. I was low on potassium and phosphorus and nitrogen, but that's going to be the big bag of 888 that I buy when I go back up to the counter. You buy that up at the counter, and then you go around and they'll load it for you in your car, because come to find out it's 50 pounds. I was thinking 25 pounds, but it's a big 50-pound bag. So they'll load that for me. Right now, I'm looking for sulfur, calcium, and magnesium. Found the sulfur here on this end, but I'm just like, my brain won't focus on everything all at once. So I just have to just stand here a little while and look at it and then think of what I need. I finally found the calcium nitrate that I want to get. And then I found a bag of magnesium. And the calcium, that was a kind of a thing I had to Google and think about, because you can add calcium to your soil by putting lime on it. However, my pH was 6.43, which was really good. I didn't want to raise that anymore. It was really good because it should have been 5.8 to 7. So 6.43 was great. So I didn't want to put lime. So how else do you get calcium? And I discovered that, I Googled it, to be honest with you, and I discovered that by adding calcium nitrate or bone meal, or even, what is the other, gypsum, you can add calcium to your soil. Well, the calcium nitrate is right here. I ended up finding that, so I bought a bag of that, and then I bought a bag of magnesium also. So I think I've got it covered. I think I've got what all I need. This is a busy place. I'm heading out, but I got the sulfur that I needed, the calcium that I needed, and the magnesium that I needed, and I got a bag of 888. Not gonna put it all on there today, but I've got it. I couldn't get boron, and the guy checked on the computer and they were out of boron, but I can get it somewhere else. I actually have some, but it is from when I lived at my other house, and I remember bringing it to this house. It's stored in my storage shed, so it's from at least 2021 to 2022. So I know that it's old, and I'm sure things break down. So I don't want to get out that old boron to put on my garden and expect good results. So I'll get some more of that later. I'm missing something. I'm missing some fixed knobs on here that are supposed to hold this handle to this handle and that handle to this handle. Let me go back and find my box. and just see if I missed something, because they're called fixed knobs. And I don't have any. I don't have any. Let me go look in my box. Okay, I'm not crazy. I went all the way back, got the box out, opened it all up. There was no other parts in it. I came back in here, I'm like, what's the deal? And then I realized, I just took a chance. I said, let me open this thing, which I thought was like a motor or something in here. I didn't realize it was open. And when I did, I pulled this bag out, and this is the parts. Thank goodness, because I was like, oh no, am I gonna have to call customer service or something? I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I found these things. They're little fixed knobs, they're called. There are four of them. I went and got a garbage bag to set under this thing because a little bit of oil is on the top. I'm sure it has oil on it, so it's no big deal. All right. Okay. All right, I said I was going to explain why I bought this. I don't want to always have to depend on other people. What happens when bad things happen? What happens when the world's just maybe not in a great position? I just always kind of like to prepare for the worst, and then you can hope for the best. But if you prepare for the worst, you've kind of got yourself covered. And what if gas is real expensive? What if diesel is real expensive again? Bubba's tractor depends on diesel. I don't want to be having to burden someone to come help me with my task at my house when it's very expensive to run their equipment. What if the parts for tractors are so prohibitive that if anything broke, it would cost him a lot of money. I don't want somebody coming to work on my things and they may end up with a broken part on their tractor, and it's going to cost them a lot of money to fix, or I'll feel bad about it. And I just feel like we kind of need to get ourselves self-sufficient, and that's why I wanted to get this tiller, because no, it may not be able to go out there and do my whole big garden in a quick manner. A tractor is definitely the most opportune piece of equipment I would need for that. However, for my little garden and for just doing some chores around my flower beds, this could work. And it runs on batteries. And I don't depend on going to the gas station for this. I'd rather eliminate some of the things that I need it for. I've cut way back on the push mower. I barely need any gas for it anymore because I don't use it that much, but I like having it. And then I'm cutting back on gas on this, on things that I can use for my yard. And I don't want to have to bother my neighbors all the time. I don't want to. I want to try to be as self-sufficient as I can possibly be, because I'm not just getting older, they are too. And we all have our own problems. And I don't want to be the lady that everybody feels like they have to go help sometimes because she can't manage her own stuff. I want to figure things out. And I watch them use this. And it's not a deep tiller and all, but it does churn up the dirt. That's all I need. And I thought to myself, that'll help. That's what I need. I need something that will just do a simple garden job for me, and I don't have to gas it up. I don't have to maintain carburetors. I just have to kind of keep it running, keep it clean, and take care of it and be as good with it as I can possibly be. And hopefully it'll last me a while. As long as these batteries last, it should last. And then if the worst happens, I just order another one. For that price, I would just soon order another one. But I'm going to try my best to take as good care of this as I can and to keep it as long as I can, as long as it'll hold up. And we'll just see. We'll see. This is not a commercial, as I said, for this particular little battery tiller. There's other battery tillers on the market. I don't know which one is best. This one may not be, but I'm trying it because it looked as good as any other thing I saw on the internet. And I feel like they're wanting it to be a good tiller and asking people to put it on their channels. And so I'm just taking a little chance that it might be a decent little machine. Not endorsing it though, because I haven't even used it yet. But I will let you know as we go if I like it. I'm really not doing any advertising on my channel, any sponsors or anything like that. I'm really not into all that. But I will tell you when I think something's good or when it's bad. I want that freedom to be able to do that. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to let you know what I'm working on and how it works and whether it was as much a help to me as I wanted it to be. That's my goal. Pull my plants out of the ground. Just making sure I don't see any snakes. I do not see anything right now. All right. I'm gonna boldly go where I didn't go yesterday. I'm gonna get up in this garden and pull out all my plants. And then I'm gonna give that tiller a go. We're gonna see what happens. My review, I love it. This is all I needed. I just did a little, like say 3 rows, 3 passes. I really did 2 passes plus another half a pass. And it's already busted up the whole middle of my garden. I've got to go in my house and get my clippers to do this corn. I forgot about the corn, and I really need to clip those bottoms before I try to pull that out of the ground, because I couldn't pull them out of the ground. So I need to do that. And of course, I've got to do the sides and over here along this way. But I can tell you that it's quick. I don't think I was doing that 10 minutes or so, and it already busted up this middle. If you saw it bouncing and it kind of looks like it wants to get away from me a little bit, what that was is it did the rows fine. It did the little rows fine. It tore into those and was smooth and good. When it hit the space between the rows, it started bouncing. And the reason for that is it is so hot right now. It's hot. So every time it hit one of those spaces, it would start bouncing, because it was kind of like bouncing on a basketball court. our ground here is hard as a rock, and so that's okay. It may be worth another pass or something later just to kind of really get it busted up, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just kind of give it a lick and a promise on those areas, and I just want to get this all kind of fluffed up. Doesn't have to be perfect, and put the 888 down, and then let it rain at some point. It's got to rain at some point. I'm sure it does. Let it rain at some point this fall, kind of really get the soil a little bit in better condition. And then I'll come back through here again with this thing and fluff it up before I do any planting, and do some more remediating, of course, with the calcium and the sulfur and the boron, and what else was it I bought? Magnesium. So I can come back later and do some remediation with that. So it's just a process. It's not all things you can put on one little video. It's just a process. But I'm happy. I really like it. It's what I need, and it's all I need. It's all I need. I am so happy. This was so easy. My shoes are dirty, but it was easy. It's good when something works. I always say ain't nothing easy, but this little sucker was pretty easy. It was easy to put together, and it was easy to run, and it runs on the 2 batteries, which all I have to do is take back in my house tonight and put on the charger if I want to use this thing again tomorrow, and that's pretty darn easy. So chalk 1 up for that. Good purchase, good deal, happy. I'm very, very happy. This is Lainey at Hilltop Home Place. Thank you for doing this with me. And remember, I got my soil test from Redmond Agriculture, redmondagriculture.com, something like that. And then I got my little tiller here from Task Star. That's the model, but I ordered it through Amazon. So you don't have to go to a manufacturer or anything. You can get it through Amazon. So not endorsing anything, just telling you what kind of has worked for me. I've been pretty satisfied with both products. Thank you so much. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Bye-bye.